hi, what is the saying? Long time no see. It's been a while since I posted on this channel because I got sick, so for like a month, on and off. It was kind of a rough month. I work with kids, so they always are passing me something. Anyways, I am feeling well enough finally to film and edit videos, and all the videos that I had pre-filmed, the one video I had pre-filmed, I didn't end up liking it very much, so I didn't post it, and I am going to just start off filming some new videos. But welcome back to my channel. I got new glasses. My name is Selena, and let's just get into the books that I plan to read in November. Why am I bad at looking at the camera now? So I've actually already read 2 books in November, and they are Rolling in the Deep by Mira Grant and Bridge of Souls. They're both books that I plan to read at the end of October near Halloween, but that's when I was at my sickest, or one of the points where I was really sick, so I did not feel like reading, and I was getting through audiobooks and physical books. I wasn't getting through physical books at all, and I was getting through audiobooks pretty slowly, so I didn't get to those 2, but I finished them a few days ago, and so technically they are on my November TBR. I just have already read them. And then the next audiobook that is going to be on this November TBR is The House with Chicken Legs by Sophie Thompson. I love middle grade. I've discovered this about myself this year. I've read a ton of middle grade, and The House with Chicken Legs sounds adorable. I know it is Russian folklore inspired. It's about a girl whose grandmother is the Baba Yaga, and she welcomes souls into the afterlife. She helps them transition, and our main character, Malinka, I think, has just, I've just started this, so I am really bad at knowing her name. Malinka knows that one day she will take over and be the new Baba Yaga. She knows that's kind of her destiny, but I believe she has a chance to break the rules and socialize with the outside world, and she takes it, and somehow her grandmother is kidnapped, and she must venture into the Russian underworld to save her. That's what the description says. Anyway, so my library has this audiobook. I got it. I wanted it to be in this cold, kind of spooky season, so I'm getting to it now. It's going to be the first. I'm already started. I'm a little bit into it, and I'm liking it so far, so that's good. Then I have some carryover books. One of them's carryover, one of them's not. But the carryover book that I'm bringing from October into November is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I know this was on my September TBR and then I didn't finish it, which you will see when you see my September wrap up tomorrow, I think. And I started it at the end of October and I didn't finish it because I got sick again. And I wasn't that into the beginning of this anyways. I'm now much farther in it than I was. I'm 250 pages in, and I'm really enjoying this. So we'll see if it can stay as good, or if it gets better, or if it gets worse. We'll see. And at the end of the month, when I do my November wrap up, or when I post a review, if I post a review for this, you guys will see my thoughts on this. And then the other thing I'm currently reading, and technically the first thing from the first physical book from my November TBR, is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. It has an E at the end of Olivia, so I don't know. But I am reading this book, and I am almost to the end of this book. I'm probably going to finish this book today or tomorrow, which is my goal. It's amazing. I'm 276 pages into this, and I'm really liking it. I don't know why, really, because it's not something that I would say is my usual taste. There's definitely things about it where I'm I definitely see things about this that are aligned with my taste, like the magic and the character, interactions, but most of it is not. This is a dark academia, low-ish fantasy book with a very hard magic system and 6 very extraordinary people who have some of the more rare magical abilities. We have, I don't even know, we have 2 people who can kind of manipulate matter. We've got someone who can see through illusions. We've got someone who nature sort of responds to her, and she can make it grow, she can make it die, lots of things. And then we have someone who is an empath and someone who is a telepath. Is that the word? Yes, telepath. And these 6 people who are very extraordinary are invited to be in, I don't remember what they called them. They're not initiates yet, but they're possible initiates into the Society of the Library of the Alexandria, which is a lost library in history, if you don't know. But in this world, it was just sort of, it was burned down and kept secret from the rest of the world, so only the most elite of the elite get to be initiated into the society. So it's got dark academia vibes, which is not my thing. It has a really interesting friend group. It's an adult book, definitely. It's got a really interesting friend group where no one necessarily likes each other, but they also don't necessarily all hate each other. They have very complicated relationships, and they all are attracted to each other. So, if that sounds like your thing, I think it reminds me of The Raven Cycle and, what's the other book? Six of Crows, in a way, but not, because it's not YA, nor is it high fantasy or kind of spooky low fantasy. It's very much its own thing in that regard. It might also appeal to you if you like Vicious. I didn't, so I don't know, but it's giving me those vibes. I'm spending way too long on books. I do not know how to booktube anymore. I just don't. Next, some more audiobooks I didn't get to in October. Along the Saltwise C by Seanan McGuire. It's by Seanan McGuire, but it's by a different name. Seanan McGuire. Deborah Baker. So this is, I don't really know what this is, because Seanan McGuire writes for Tor.com, and I don't know that Tor.com publishes traditional YA books. It publishes that stuff under Tor Teen, so I feel like if this were YA or middle grade, actually, it would be published under that. But it's one of those books, kind of like The House in the Cerulean Sea and the Wayward Children series, that kind of is very much of a blend of age ranges. The characters are middle grade, it uses a lot of middle grade, tropes and things. It's a portal fantasy, but it is also not, necessarily aimed for middle grade. It's a lot darker, it's a bit more commenting on childhood than actually trying to replicate childhood, if that makes any sense. And this is the second book in the series. This is actually also a companion series to Middle Game, which I have no interest in reading, but I do love these little novellas. I read Over the Woodward Wall earlier in the year. I think I have a review, which I will link, and I loved it. And so I am super excited to get to Along the Saltwise Sea. It came out in October, but my library didn't get it into me until November, so it'll be one of the next audiobooks I pick up. And then another audiobook I didn't get to because I fell sick was Redawn by Brandon Sanderson and Jancy Patterson. As you will see in my October wrap-up, I read Sunreach by Brandon Sanderson and Jancy Patterson, one of the first of the 3 Skyward novellas. I love the Skyward series. It's over there. You can't really see it. I love Skyward so much. And when I found out we were getting more novellas as well as the 3rd book this year, I was like, yes, I am so excited. So I was so excited for Sunreach. It didn't disappoint. Redawn, I hope will not. I'm excited. And these books are so fun and just a joy to read for me that I am so genuinely excited to pick it up. The next audiobook I want to read is Rise of Empire by Michael J. Sullivan. This is the sequel to Theft of Swords, which I read earlier in the year. I don't think I have a review, but I really enjoyed that book. I enjoyed both. It's like a bind-up. Each book in the series of the Ray Area Revelations is a bind-up. I enjoyed the first one more than the second, but I'm excited to see how the 3rd and 4th, or the second bind-up, are. And I really want to finish the series by the end of the year. So this month is going to be Rise of Empire. Oh, and this is about a duo, what are they called? They're a mercenary duo that calls themselves Ray Area, and they're also best friends, and they've gotten themselves involved with something much bigger than them, and I love them so much. They're my favorite friendship in fantasy. The next physical book I'm going to read is a book that I was actually loaned by a friend of mine. And that book is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. As soon as I finish either the Atlas 6 or The Name of the Wind, I'm going for this one because I really want to get this back to her. And I'm excited. This has never been one of the Jemisin books that I have been dying to read, but since hearing Brightness Katie talk about it more and Angela from Literature Science Alliance talk about it more, I would like to give this a try. And after hearing my friend rave about this, how much she loved it. I really do want to give this a try. It'll be my second Jemison this year, and I hope to read more next year, but I'm really excited. I'm excited for this like New York split into 5 avatars that feel kind of like superheroes vibe. At least that's what I've heard. I'm just excited. And also this cover is stunning. The next physical book I am going to read is one of 2 that just came today, and that is Fireborn by Rosario Munda. This book has been kind of touted by Elliot Brooks a bunch, and it sounds good. I would really like to read this, and so I put it on my TBR for November because it feels like a colder sort of book to me. It's inspired by the Russian Revolution, but with dragons, and I'm just excited. I hope I love this. Most people I have seen love this. There's only a couple of people who don't care for it, and I really hope that I am not in that group because I am highly anticipating this. The next physical book is one that I know my friend Udi will be excited about, and that is The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan, because I'm basic and want to watch the show that the book is so annoyingly advertising on its cover. Oh my gosh, what is that? Is that one of those orc things on the cover? Wheel of Time stands. Tell me what this is. What is that? I don't know the names of anything, and I'm very bad at description. Anyways, I've heard people like this second book in the Wheel of Time better than Eye of the World. I read Eye of the World over the span of like 2.5 months, over the spring summer-ish, and I needed a break because Eye of the World, I liked it. It wasn't my favorite, but I'm excited for this one because I've heard that this one has more plot, and there's just some things that Eye of the World set up that I actually am really excited about that I think could be explored in this. And also it's shorter than Eye of the World, which will be nice. And the show is coming out, so my goal is to actually finish this book before the show comes out. So as soon as Name of the Wind is done, I've got to get to this bad boy. Actually, as soon as The City We Became is done, I got to get to this bad boy. Then my next book I'm going to try is actually an audiobook, and I'm reading it because it seems like it would be a really good read this time of year, this kind of fall time of year. I read two books by this author this year, one of which I absolutely adored, and that is Spinning Silver, and I hope to read Uprooted this month. And here's the thing. A lot of people love Uprooted. A lot of people also dislike Uprooted, and a lot of people who dislike Uprooted also love Spinning Silver. So just because I've liked Spinning Silver doesn't mean I will love Uprooted. I love fairy tales, I love magical forests, I love Beauty and the Beast style stories, and I know that that's what Uprooted is. However, I also am not a huge fan of like toxic or like jerk boyfriend type relationships, and that's kind of what I've heard about Uprooted. But depending on how good the magic is and how good the story is, I could overlook that, or I could feel differently about that. Because Spinning Silver, the magic, the fairy tale-esqueness was my dream fairy tale book. So if this is the only other one of Naomi Novik's books that is like Spinning Silver to me, like His Majesty's Dragon series, I love the first book. That's a great series. But it's not anything like Spinning Silver. And then A Deadly Education, I really have very little desire to read, maybe a little bit more after the Atlas 6, but it's really not something that I would like, that I am like dying to read. But I also know that it's nothing like Spinning Silver. And Uprooted is the only other one of her books that is like Spinning Silver. And until she writes more, if she ever writes more, Spinning Silver is the only Naomi Novik fairy tale out there. Uprooted is the only other one that I haven't read, and I need more of the kind of fairy tale-esque stuff that happened in Spinning Silver because I freaking love it. And if that's the last time I ever see my dream fairy tale stuff done, I will be very sad. So I'm highly scared about this book, but it could be amazing. That's my feelings. The next audiobook that I want to get to is actually a buddy read on the Discord that was voted for, and that is The Library of the Unwritten by AJ Hackwith, I think. And this is about a library in hell where unfinished stories go, and there's some librarians that we follow, and one of the characters of one of these stories gets out. and our librarians have to chase after him. And so I'm really excited for this book. It sounds fun. I think my boyfriend's joining. I'm gonna try and get my friend Ray to join. I hope you will join. You can join my Discord right now. It's down in the description always. And I mean, it's not a Patreon or anything, so you don't have to pay any money. Like, it's not anything like that. No shade to anyone actually who has Patreon Discord. Like, go for it. That's amazing. I love that. But this one's not. And so you can join it. Anyone can join it, and we'd love to have you because we love to talk. The next book is also a Discord buddy read, and that is Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. Me and my friend Ray, who does not have a channel, run a buddy read together. Like, we pick a book and we try and read it together. This is the book that I coerced Ray into reading with me because, oh my gosh, look at that cover. And we open it up so the Discord can join if they want to. So if you're planning on reading this, Six Crimson Cranes, or the Library of Unwritten this month, or if you want to, now that I've said it, join the Discord. We'd love to have you. We'd love for you to read this with us. I'm super excited for this because Six Crimson Cranes is a fairy tale retelling based off of the Six Swans, and that's one of my favorite fairy tales. I don't want to say too much else about it, but it is about a girl whose voice is taken from her, and her brothers are turned into swans and cranes, and this, it looks like, but if she speaks, as any word she speaks will kill one of her brothers. And so that's the fairy tale, and I know this is kind of a fairy tale retelling. I don't know where it will deviate, if it will, but I'm super, super, super excited for this because I love that fairy tale, and I just need that good fairy tale vibes, as I was talking about with Uprooted. And I have only 3 more books left. No, I have 4. Right? Yes. Okay. The next book that I hope to get to is also an audiobook, and that is coming out at the end of this month, and that is Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. The 3rd book in the Skyward series. I freaking love this series. I have a review for Skyward, I believe, which I will link, but it's back when I first started BookTube, so it's probably terrible, but you can look at it if you want. I freaking love the series. I cannot wait for Cytonic. I'm convinced Sanderson can do no wrong with this series for me because I adore it so deeply. Like, there's no going wrong. Watch it go completely wrong and me have to take this back. It could happen, but I don't expect it to. So yeah, that one I'm super excited for. I'm also super excited for the Gatekeeper Staff by Antoine Bondelay. This is the first in the TJ Young and the Orisha series. This I asked for my birthday because I want to have it in my classroom. It sounds like a great book. It's like an Percy Jackson-esque like young YA book, and it has to do with many different mythologies, but I know particularly TJ is dealing with West African mythology and is dealing with the Orishas. I love West African mythology, West African inspired mythology, like West African diaspora mythology. I'm not exactly sure what strain of that's going to be in this book, but I'm so, so, so excited. And look at this freaking cover. Oh my gosh, so cool. And I just think that this could be a great book to have in my classroom, so I wanted it to read it and see it. Also, I grew up on Percy Jackson and all of the Riordan verse books, so seeing books that are in the same vein as that, getting a chance with different mythologies, different cultures of different people of color, so exciting to me, and this one is just super exciting to me. Next, we have one of my most anticipated releases, but I'm also terrified of it, and that is The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid. I really want to read this. Look at this beautiful copy. This is the UK edition. Pro tip, if you want the gold to like be shiny gold, then get the UK edition. But because the American edition has like yellow, it's not like shiny or anything, and I wanted the shiny, so I got the UK edition. I'm so excited for this. I know this is a book inspired by Jewish mythology and lore, and so I'm just excited. That's pretty much all I know. I know there's a journey between 2 characters, and that's pretty much all I know. I don't want to know much else. I want to read it, and I have high hopes for this book. And the final book that I am planning to get to in the month of November, if I can squeeze it in, is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is a book by a Native author that I know deals with a pre-Columbian America. So before Columbus came, if Columbus never came, we're dealing with indigenous cultures, and it is fantasy. I'm so excited for this one too. I've heard such great things about this, and oh my gosh, a color map. It knows the way to my heart. This is another gorgeous book that I'm super excited to dive into this month. I really hope I get the chance to get into it. I feel like I've not been reading very much, and I've just now gotten back into it with like Atlas 6 and Name of the Wind, and Bridge of Souls certainly helped. So I feel like I'm just in a really happy and like hopeful mood with these books. Like I really hope I can get to as many of these as possible, because I'm genuinely excited for all of them. Even ones that you might think I'd be less excited about, The Great Hunt, like I'm still excited, and I can see myself having a good time with all of these, and I'm just ready to read more. Alright, thank you for watching this video. These are some of the books that I plan on reading in November. Let me know if you've read any of these books, which ones you think I will like, which ones you think I should prioritize, and join my Discord if you want. Read some of these with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!